I'm not in the mood to talk at the moment.
I enjoy winter, but only when I can look out at it from the comfort of a room with a fire crackling in the fireplace. Monsieur Foscarelli.
Ah, Signorina! I have been told you aid the great Hercule Poirot in his investigations. I will help you in any way I can.
May I have your passport, please?
Of course, of course! Here you are!
You are Antonio Foscarelli. I see here you are a naturalized American citizen.
Yes, Signorina. It is better for my business. I am, as you can see, a salesman of motor cars. I do big business. I am up to date. I understand salesmanship.
What do you smoke? A pipe, cigarettes, cigars?
Cigarettes only.
I would like to take your fingerprints.
Of course, of course. Anything to help.
Thank you. You travel frequently to and from the United States?
Yes, for the past 10 years or so.
Did you ever come across Monsieur Ratchet?
Never, but I know the type. Oh, yes. It is very respectable, very well dressed, but underneath it is all wrong. I should say he was a big crook. I give you my opinion for what it is worth.
Your opinion is quite right. Monsieur Ratchet was Cassetti, the kidnapper.
What did I tell you? I have learned to read the face. It is necessary. Only in America do they teach you the proper way to sell.
Please tell me your movements last night after dinner.
With pleasure. I stay here in the salon car for a while. It is more amusing. I play cards with the American gentleman who sells the typewriter ribbons. We talk shop. Afterwards, we retire to my compartment and play the cards some more. And talk more shop. That one, though, he is not the salesman Foscarelli is, I can tell you.
Do you remember the Armstrong case?
I do not quite remember, but yes. The name, it was a little girl, was it not? A baby, una bambina.
Yes.
Ah, well, these things, they happen, even in a great country like America.
Have you ever come across any members of the Armstrong family?
It is difficult to say. I see so many people, you understand. I'll give you some figures. Last year alone, I sold...
Please, monsieur, confine yourself to the point.
With a great pleasure.
What time did you go to your compartment?
Oh, it was early. 8:30 or so.
What time did you stop playing cards in your room?
Not yet 10 o'clock. That stuffed shirt of a valet who shares the compartment with me came back from attending his master. A miserable people, the English. Not sympathetic. He sits in the corner, very stiff, reading a book. Mr. Hardman and I, we lose our taste for the cards, and Mr. Hardman, he goes off to his own room. The attendant makes up our bets.
What time did you go to bed?
I lay on my bunk for a while. The Englishman has, I think, the toothache. He gets out a little bottle of stuff that smells very strong. Moans and groans. I drop off around 10:30. Whenever I wake, I hear him groaning.
Do you know if Monsieur Masterman left the room at all during the night?
I do not think so. If the door opened, the light from the corridor, one wakes up automatically thinking it is the customs examination at some frontier.
Did Monsieur Masterman ever speak of his master?
I tell you, he did not speak, even to introduce himself. He was not a sympathetic, a fish.
Thank you, Monsieur Foscarelli.
Signorina, may I beg a few moments to myself?
I'd like to talk to you again, if you don't mind. I would like to take your fingerprints.
I see. Very well, then.
That will be all.
I'm not in the mood to talk right now.
Count Andrigny, I am acting on behalf of Monsieur Hercule Poirot in this matter. May I speak with you?
I quite understand your position. I will do anything I can to assist you.
May I have your passport, please?
Yes, certainly.
Rudolph Joseph Andrigny, aged 34. A diplomatic passport.
Yes, I am in the Hungarian consular service.
Wife, Elena Maria Andrigny, aged 20.
Yes, we have only been married a year.
Aged 20, thank you. Are you aware of the identity of the deceased, monsieur?
If you want to know his name, surely it is in his passport.
The name on his passport is Ratchet. That is not his real name. He is in fact Cassetti, who was responsible for the kidnapping and death of a child in America.
Ah, that certainly should throw light upon the matter.
Have you been to America, Monsieur Leconte?
Yes, I was in Washington for a year. Extraordinary country.
Did you know the Armstrong family?
The kidnapped victims.
Yes.
Armstrong. It is difficult to recall. So many diplomatic functions. So many hands to shake. I cannot recall. I'm sorry.
Can you tell me how you spent the evening after dinner last night?
We had my wife's compartment made up while we were at dinner. On returning, we sat up in mine playing piquet. At about 11 o'clock, my wife retired for the night. The attendant made up my compartment, and I also went to bed.
I'd like to take your fingerprints.
Whatever you need to do, I will be happy to cooperate.
The sudden stop of the train awakened you?
Naturally. I learned from the attendant of the avalanche, then went in to my wife and comforted her.
When did you return to your own compartment?
Well, I didn't, actually. That is to say, I did not like to leave my wife alone after the shock. We passed the remainder of the night together.
Other than the train stopping, did you notice anything unusual?
No, I don't think so. I dropped off to sleep sometime before 2 a.m. and slept through until this morning.
You didn't hear the commotion in the compartment next to yours? The American lady who occupies it had quite an attack of hysterics and rang repeatedly for the attendant.
When was this?
At approximately 1:15.
No, I'm afraid I didn't notice.
Do you smoke, Monsieur Leconte?
The occasional cigar only. They are always offered to me, you understand, but I do not much like them.
That will do for now, Count Andrigny. Countess, may I ask you some questions regarding the death of Monsieur Ratchet?
I'm not sure what I can do to help, but I'll try.
Have you been to America?
No, mademoiselle. My husband was posted there. Diplomatic duties. But we were not married then.
What is the color of your dressing gown?
Why do you ask me that?
Detectives have to ask all sorts of questions. Forgive me.
It is yellow. Corn-colored chiffon. Are you really a detective, mademoiselle? I was told you worked for the railway.
Well, I'm assisting a detective. That's what I meant.
Is he a Yugoslavian detective?
I think he would tell you he belongs to the world, madame. May I take your fingerprints?
Yes.
When did you fall asleep last night?
Soon after 1 o'clock, I believe.
Did you hear or see anything unusual last evening?
After the train stopped?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
You didn't hear Mrs. Hubbard ringing her bell and calling out at around 1:15?
No, it would be very unlikely if I did. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Countess. I'm sorry to disturb you.
Not at all. As you can see, I'm not exactly occupied at the moment. And I do know you're helping that funny little Belgian detective. What can I do for you?
Your full name, permanent address, and age, please.
Mary Hermione Debenham, 32. I'm between permanent addresses at the moment.
What can you tell me of the murder last night?
I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. I went to bed and slept.
You seem very at ease. Are you not distressed by what has happened?
Distressed? I have not really thought about it from that point of view. No, I cannot say that I am at all distressed. After all, people die every day.
They die, yes, but murder is thankfully a little more rare. Were you acquainted with Monsieur Ratchet?
I saw him for the first time at dinner last night. Oh, I suppose at the station, perhaps. I don't recall.
How did he strike you?
I hardly noticed him.
He did not strike you as an evil personality?
Really, I cannot say I thought about it. Whether or not I liked Mr. Ratchet's face does not seem to be helpful in finding out who killed him.
I'd like to take your fingerprints.
How very enterprising of you. How do we proceed?
I have some typewriter ribbon.
Splendid. This is all rather exciting.
Do you know who Monsieur Ratchet really was?
Haven't a clue. Who was he?
Cassetti, the man behind the Armstrong kidnapping.
That was quite abominable.
Where did you begin your journey?
Baghdad.
What were you doing there?
I have been acting as governess to 2 children.
What is your final destination?
London. I'm giving up on Baghdad. Not much happens there. I'm hoping to find a suitable post in London.
What can you tell me about Mademoiselle Schmidt?
She's a nearly perfect traveling companion. Quiet, polite, thinks the world of her princess.
What is the color of her dressing gown?
Her dressing gown. It's dark blue. Flannel.
Did Mademoiselle Schmidt leave your compartment at any time during the night?
She was with the princess, reading, I believe, until quite late. I awoke when she returned. I remember thinking she was not paid enough for such long hours and checked my watch. It was 12:38.
How well do you know Colonel Arbuthnot?
That's a very impertinent question, and I'll not answer it.
Au revoir, Mademoiselle Debenham. I filled the tumbler with vinegar. I filled the tumbler with olive oil. That key doesn't fit the lock. The key worked. Well, what do we have here? What's all this? It's a makeshift bed, but who could possibly be using it? It looks like someone had a meal here recently. Crime et punition, géographie européenne, introduction à la science. Interesting selection. I'd better put the lid back on for appearances. It's locked. I think I heard a click. It's open. I'll put this into my scrapbook so I can take a closer look at it later. I have the olive oil and vinegar you need for tonight's meal.
Let me see them. Yeah, this olive oil is fresh enough and of sufficient quality. The quality of this vinegar will have to do, but there is not nearly enough. Tell me at once where you found it.
In the baggage car.
There must be far more vinegar for the authentic elderfeld salad. I will get it myself.
Splendid. Loaves of bread. They smell lovely.
Formidable.
I'd better close this. I wouldn't like to waste fuel. I believe they are sacks of flour, good for thickening sauces. And judging by last night's sauce, Klaus will get through both sacks before the trip is through. An empty bottle of olive oil, and one that looks like it contained vinegar. Such a cramped kitchen. I can't imagine how Klaus puts up with it. Such a I would like to fingerprint you.
Ach, fine. Do as you must. Leave me be.
It has a fingerprint on it. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. I'd better put the lid back on for appearances. Those don't work together. I can't get them to... I would expect nothing less than this exquisite work on the most luxurious train in the world. There's a visible fingerprint here. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. It has a fingerprint on it. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. A fingerprint. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. I won't find any... There's a visible fingerprint here. I obtained a clear print and have filed it. I won't find anything else. I've already searched it thoroughly. Nothing else.